Next on Worcester News Tonight, combating the West Nile virus. Crews begin spraying for mosquitoes in Worcester. Plus, a walking tour takes over the Canal district tonight as a group of foodies get a taste of the local cuisine. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Bottary. The city of Worcester is spraying this evening to control mosquitoes and the West Nile virus. A part of the city will be tested with a pesticide to help eliminate adult mosquitoes. The spraying comes as a response to positive West Nile samples found in both Worcester and Auburn earlier this month. Our Cam Jandro was in the city tonight and has the details.
And they're expected to be out until about 12:30 or so. We're here in Newton Square, and if you go about a half mile or a mile in each direction, that's about the radius the city of Worcester will be spraying this evening. We caught up with city officials earlier this afternoon, and they say that spraying is the last line of defense when it comes to combating the West Nile virus and mosquitoes here in the city. But after getting a positive sample in Worcester and another positive sample in nearby Auburn, spraying was just something they had to do.
This is only really the beginning of July, and the season will last likely through really the first frost. So we will likely continue to have more positive West Nile mosquitoes. So we don't want to continue to have to spray throughout the city.
It's important that you stay inside for about 15 to 20 minutes before going back outside. If you have pets, they advise that you stay inside with them for a few additional hours if possible. And if you have a garden, it's important to wash off any fruits or vegetables before eating anything. Accidental exposure should not cause any health concerns, and even though they're spraying, this is not a foolproof way of getting rid of mosquitoes or the West Nile virus. So the city of Worcester still advises people to follow their 5 Ds of avoiding the West Nile virus, and that's dawn, dusk, DEET, dress, and drain. Again, we're here in Newton Square as the city of Worcester sprays to try and combat mosquitoes and the West Nile virus. In Worcester tonight, I'm Cam Jandro. Worcester News Tonight.
Worcester could see its first medical marijuana dispensary as early as next month. Good Chemistry says now since they've received their license, they're excited to join downtown's business atmosphere. Our Brittany Schaefer has the details.
Worcester's first medical marijuana license is approved by the Board of Health.
Obviously, this is very new for Massachusetts, certainly new to Worcester, so we wanted to make sure that we started this process the right way.
The first license comes almost 6 years after Massachusetts voters approved the legalization of medical marijuana. Karen Clark is the director of the Worcester Division of Public Health. She says the regulations are strict.
It really did take a long time, but we feel very confident on the local level that we crossed all the T's and dotted the I's to make sure that this would be a success and that we were starting off on the right foot.
With their license secure, Good Chemistry is wasting no time. The facility on Harrison Street is set to open on August 2nd.
We're doing the finishing touches. We have received all of our licenses at this point from the state and the city.
The Colorado-based company says Worcester is a location close to their hearts.
I actually have some connection to Worcester. My aunt and uncle lived there for 25 years, and my grandparents moved there 15 years ago. So I spent quite a bit of time in Worcester through the years, and to get the first medical marijuana license in the city makes myself and my family very proud.
I think because we're the second largest city in New England, and having a lot going on here, and there's really this renaissance that's happening, I think a lot of people who would want this will be able to get it conveniently here in Worcester instead of having to travel.
The city says they expect to approve more medical marijuana licenses in the next few months. As for Good Chemistry, they hope to be the city's first recreational marijuana shop, but say it could take some time. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
The Cannabis Control Commission is looking at possible sites for its new headquarters here in Worcester. The agency is conducting site visits and plans to finalize the selection process by the fall. The CCC oversees the state's marijuana industry. They also plan on finding a satellite office in Boston. Mass Foodies and Worcester Canal Food Tours teamed up tonight to lead a guided eating tour through some of the Canal District's restaurants. One of their many stops was at Birch Tree Bread Company, where the team prepared turkey and bacon and Italian sandwich samples, sweetbread pudding, and iced tea. Over a 3-hour period, the group visited 6 different restaurants, all within a mile of each other. Each restaurant prepared a sample dish. Organizers of the event say this is a great opportunity to highlight the different culinary options the area has to offer.
Developing this critical mass of everything that's good about Worcester, its local people, the investment that places like Birch Tree make in quality ingredients, and pushing the envelope, trying something new all the time.
Worcester is the epicenter of restaurants in Massachusetts right now. I mean, there's no question about the activity that it has. And I think that the Canal district is really the most walkable neighborhood in Worcester. So it's important to be able to do it here. You can easily access a whole bunch of different restaurants and really, have a whole community that's tied together.
Along with tasting the food, those on the tour were also enlightened with highlights of history from the area. Walking across the state with a pen and a pad of paper, a central Massachusetts man is collecting messages for the state's next governor. Our Chandler Walsh has more.
BJ Hill walks through East Brookfield. It's part of his 3-week trip across the state. He's hiking 250 miles on foot, gathering handwritten letters for the next elected Massachusetts governor. Hill says he came up with the idea years ago when he felt a disconnect between elected officials and residents.
It feels like right after the election or soon after the election, unfortunately, people get busy, politicians get busy, and they kind of forget about their smaller towns in the Commonwealth.
Hill is meeting hundreds of people in the communities he visits. Thursday, it was a group of seniors at East Brookfield Baptist Church. He's asking them to write one thing they want to say to the governor in his notebook. He says the big themes this year seem to be healthcare and immigration.
Being able to write in the book, I think, is an extension of our freedom to let our opinions be known.
There's no agenda for Hill. He says he's not pushing any candidate or cause.
It's just whatever anyone wants to write. It's a blank page.
Hill walked across the state 2 times before the 2006 and 2014 elections. He gave Governor Charlie Baker his last notebook and says he was enthusiastic to read it.
I think that had he not had something to do later on that afternoon, he probably would have sat and read each page one by one.
Hill meets people in popular town spots, but encourages anyone to stop him if they have a message for the next governor.
Just beep the horn, pull over, and I'll have a page and a pen for you.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
Students at Becker College are now able to enroll in a new eSports undergraduate degree. The bachelor's degree will focus on the business side of the fast-growing industry. According to Becker, the global esports industry is expected to top $1.5 billion in revenue by 2020 and an audience worldwide of more than 580 million. Students will utilize streaming technology, develop business plans to develop teams, and create online communities. The program is expected to begin the fall of 2019. A Worcester College president is chosen to serve on the National Science Foundation panel. Worcester Polytechnic Institute President Laurie Leshin is one of 18 members who will serve on the panel. The National Science Foundation STEM Advisory Board will advise government agencies about STEM education and its importance to the country. Leshin says she is honored to be chosen.
Generation of innovators, and doing that in a way that both gives them the skills they need for today, say that new programming language or a new cure for a disease, but also teaches them how to do it in ways that are timeless, how to understand people's needs.
President Leshin is the only college president to be named to the panel. You can find all sorts of things for sale on Broomfield Common this week. The town's antique flea market is back for its 2nd show of the year. It's the oldest outdoor antique event with thousands of booths. The 5-day flea market attracts people from all over the country. Holden resident Gene Pratt and his wife have been coming to the show for the past 10 years and came again with a strategy.
This is what she likes to do, so I say let's go. We've bypassed, I want to say 50% of the place, only because you could not do this in one day. We kind of know where we want to go and where some of the stuff that we want is going to be.
The flea market runs until Sunday afternoon and is back again in September. They've only been in the city for about 2 years, but the Worcester Railers Hockey Club has made a name for themselves. And as our Gretchen LaRosa explains, the team is still expanding their brand.
With exactly 100 days until their season opener, the Railers are doing all they can to push their brand across Worcester and generate traction for their team in the off-season.
They're thinking Railers 2.0, it's going to be bigger, better, building off the momentum we built in year one.
The Railers Tavern is teaming up with Wachusett Brewing Company to create a backyard beer garden in downtown Worcester.
If you drive by here after work or Friday night, Saturday night, this place is packed. It's everyone down here having a good time, enjoying the summer. So this has been a great, another opportunity to expand, getting people in Worcester.
The Brew Yard is an outdoor addition to the Railers Tavern, with Wachusett Brewing Company contributing an Airstream trailer bar. It offers nearly a dozen of their handcrafted beers and a variety of cocktails. The Backyard Brewery is another extension of the Railers' expanding family-friendly business and brand. A big part of their mission is to create more foot traffic in the center of town.
It's a pretty cool area of Worcester. It gets nice ambiance, and you can, see the people driving by, walking by, and it gets a, good vibe. You feel like you're a real part of the community here.
The Railers have made their name in the community, occupying a large portion of the downtown area. While it's hockey's off-season, the team is still finding creative ways to expand.
Railers Tavern is open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week, all week. The Brew Yard specifically is open Monday through Friday. After work, people can come back here. And then Saturday, Sunday, this is open all day long as Railers Tavern's open.
Now, hockey teams are typically concerned with re-signing players and building their rosters at this time of year. But unlike other teams, the Railers have a real investment in the downtown Worcester area. Gretchen LaRosa, Worcester News Tonight.
Worcester's Department of Public Health hosts a public forum regarding their 2018 healthcare assessment. Partnering with Fallon Health and UMass Memorial Medical Center, the survey looks at the major health concerns across the city. Two of the major issues brought up in Thursday's meeting: mental health and barriers one may face when trying to get health care. Organizers say public input is the only way to improve the community's health issues.
Ownership, so that it's owned by everybody, it's owned by the community. So we have other community representatives chipping in.
It helps to guide us, it helps to make us better understand what barriers are, and from that we're able to build out a plan to approach those barriers.
The assessment is only completed once every 3 years. You can take the survey by visiting surveymonkey.com and searching CHA 2018.